I'd like to welcome everybody, all of our 2024 winners, or at least a great handful of them today. Today we have Dan Bowman of Titan Motoring, Nashville, Tennessee. He's a client specialist there. Jess Jesty, who is the co-owner of Sound Evolution in Houston, Texas. Dave Wall, CEO of Freeman's Car Stereo in Cornelius, North Carolina. Brian Mitchell, the owner of Liquid Trends Modesto. Jeremy Taco Patterson, sales professional and product specialist at Speakerbox. And Dean Biette, Five Star Car Stereo. And he's not really sure what his title is, but I think he's a specialist in all areas. So thank you all for joining us today. And I got a few questions for you as we look at kicking off the 2024 Industry Award. So I'm going to start this off with Jeremy Taco Patterson. Tell me about your experience with the awards for 2023. What was it like? What did you experience from beginning to end? What were the biggest challenges?
I started out very uncertain. I had never made any type of promotional video about myself, about the store, about anything at all. Alex had been our store manager, had been a top 5 sales pro the year before, and she basically told me I had to. I decided to go for it. I'm really bad about feeling like I have to have the right camera, the right lens, the right microphone, the right lights, the right settings, the right everything. And she kind of was just like, you don't need all that. Just make a video. I started. I made it through to the top 5, made another video that I was a little more prepared for, learned a lot about myself. I recommend anybody that's even considering joining the awards process to do so, because you're going to learn some new skills, if nothing else. You're going to learn how to edit and shoot and create a video from raw footage. I've put that to work long after the awards ended on our social media for the store.
When you look back, is there anything you would have changed in your submission?
Oh, of course, pretty much everything. But that's how we learn, right? I'm going to take everything I would have changed, and I'm just going to apply that going forward in subsequent years.
So if somebody's looking to be Rookie of the Year for 2024, what advice would you give them?
Get your name out there. Social media, I feel like, is a big part of it. Ask questions. That's a big part of being a rookie is learning from guys like you see right here in this video. These guys are the best of the best in what we do. Most everybody I've encountered has been more than willing to share their knowledge, expertise, and mistakes. And that's a big one. Learn from the mistakes other people make so you don't make them yourself.
So Jeremy, how'd you get the nickname Taco?
That's been my nickname since I was 4. That's when I first discovered tacos, and I have, as you can tell, haven't stopped eating them since.
So Dean, you've been at pretty much every event around the world for the last few years, except for during COVID. You took the time out to submit, and I guess you were nominated as well. This is a different award. You know, when you're looking at trusted tech, that's people looking to you and thinking you're the guy that they trust information from. I know I call you for video stuff because I don't work on cars anymore unless I absolutely have to. In general, tell me about the experience for you.
You know, the awards for me this last time was a lot of fun because we had just changed a lot of the wording and how it was done, and we had put a lot of effort into changing some of the stuff that we had done in the past. So it was a lot of fun to run this time as opposed to in the previous. I always like making these videos because you really have to reflect on yourself a little bit, and you get to look back on the year and just be like, wow, I did all these things and this is cool.
What would you have done different?
Maybe a little bit more sleep, you know. When you make a video, whether it's for top 50 or top 12, you really have to put your soul into it. You have to really think about what you're trying to put out there for everyone to see, because you know, the emotional part of it is really what makes it interesting. I've judged before. There's something about when the guy is really honest with you, it just adds more feeling to it. I mean, this is what we do. We're professionals. I know most people out there don't like to talk about themselves. No one ever talks about themselves. But to look at yourself and be able to put together a cohesive sentence about, hey, this is why I do this. It's a lot of fun. But what would I change? Definitely get more sleep.
When you're looking at somebody who wants to be trusted tech or participate in the awards for this upcoming year, what advice would you give them?
If you're not participating, you're just silly, because everyone should participate. If you look at the last couple of years, who's won, you know, who's entered, there's no reason not to enter. There again, I don't know how many top 50 videos I've watched, and they run from really simple to super advanced and everywhere in between. And it's all about the story. Everybody should run. As far as Trusted Tech to me was the thing that I wanted so badly. Putting yourself out there to be available for people and to take your trade craft out. It's not easy. And winning the Trusted Tech to me was the most important award. That was what I wanted. When I started competing, I wanted Trusted Tech. So actually getting the opportunity to be awarded that, it left me speechless. If anybody saw that was in my head, that went for about 20 minutes, even though it was like 3. And as most people say, it was one of the first times I couldn't talk. So it was a big moment.
We'll try that more often when we need to.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks, Dean. I appreciate it. Mr. Bowman. Mr. Daniel Bowman, you've been involved in the awards for been a few years now. Titan's been a winner for Expediter and for Retailer, and you've been in the top spot as well. When you're thinking about all that, tell us about your experience with the awards, and you can include past years, but specifically really for the Sales Pro of the Year award that you just won.
Really, Phil said if I don't win, I'm fired. But I really wanted to win. This one's really important to me. I really wanted to win because I wanted to be able to get out in the classes and tell people, how to do what I do, right? And what I think we should do as an industry. And,
I'm watching you stack these awards up back there, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Titan's been to the awards more than once.
A few times.
And brought home the glass as well.
We don't really like to talk about it, but, we like to try to stay humble.
Yeah, and you guys are. I can say hanging out with you definitely, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to teach. Since both of you had some experience teaching as well, how is it teaching at a Knowledge Fest for you guys?
It's made a big impact, I know, with me personally. Having somebody come back 6 months, a year later and say, hey, I own the shop. We didn't talk before, but I sat in on your class and I implemented some of the things that you were talking about, and it's been a game changer for the business, for me personally, like whatever that may be. Getting that feedback is extremely rewarding. And I'm pretty transparent about this when we do our classes. Like, I've made a ton of mistakes. I mean, just all the mistakes. And most of what I've learned was just from screwing it up, basically. And that's why I love going to Knowledge Fest to try to learn and grow, because I don't think that I know much of anything. And most of what I've learned and what I try to tell people is specifically from making mistakes and doing it wrong. If I can save people that headache and they come back and be like, man, that was amazing, that helped me so much, it's just very rewarding. So I really enjoyed that kind of feedback. And doing it next to Dan has been a lot of fun. I don't know that I'd call it good cop, bad cop, but we have a different style, I guess, of speaking that seems to complement each other.
That's awesome. Dan, tell me about this moment.
Yeah, I honestly didn't think I was going to win. And those around me were pretty confident. And I had people coming up like, hey, this is great. And I didn't prepare anything to say. I was just, I was happy to be part of the process. But I was very, very surprised when I went up there. And, as I was going up the stairs, I promised myself I would cry, but I didn't. I was unable to shed a tear. But I was very excited. Now I've got to look for some other award to go after. Bring the toolbox back. I don't know.
That's pretty awesome. So what advice and challenge would you give to others that want to follow in your footsteps there?
For one, answer all of the questions and think about it for a second. If you start early, you have time to get your video and put it together in a way where you can address more of the things than maybe I did. I was fortunate that I didn't have to learn how to do editing or anything like that. If you take it serious and you apply yourself, just like you apply yourself to being at the sales counter, you have the opportunity to sell yourself to your peers and to the judges. Hopefully you come out on top. I recently saw this thing online where people are talking about, I don't want to compete with you, I want you to win too. I disagree. I want to compete with everybody because I want everyone to level up, so I have to try harder. I think that there's hanging out with folks that are on the sales floor or people that do double duty to see how people can grow, because it pushes their livelihood forward. It makes stability for all of the people in the store. So it's an important process. Family will sure love it. I got phone calls from family I hadn't spoken to in a few years that saw it online. Some of them might go right to voicemail, but whatever. But altogether, it is a fantastic experience. But, prepare, just like you prepare your demos, just like you prepare how to fill someone out and all that sort of stuff. None of it's a difficult task other than having to necessarily talk about yourself and Regardless of how fat you think you are, you're fatter.
Phil, while I got you on there as well, Expediter of the Year, Retailer of the Year, past year, same thing. Tell me about your experience. I mean, you got a stack of awards there. I'll ask you, has it changed your business or the way you do business?
It's changed a lot for us, over the years. I would say that the immediate reaction is you don't see anything immediate, like, oh, you get the award, has anything changed? Like maybe not immediately, but cumulatively over the years, it makes a big difference. I mean, I thought I was a big fish in a small pond when I'd never been to Knowledge Fest, and realized when I got in front of some of these guys, the Brian Laytons and the Schwartzes and all that, that like, man, we need to step it up. And like Dan said, if you're trying to compete and you want to compete, which I have that personality, and you see all these stores that are cleaner and better and doing more things customer service wise and sending letters and doing water bottles and all these things with branding that you had never thought about, you're like, man, I need to step it up. And when you get to that level and start thinking about how to go to the next one. So it's made a huge impact on me and Titan. There's no doubt. And I'm just super glad that I got involved because, again, when you don't have anybody to compare yourself to, or maybe the other shops in your town, and you just think you're killing it compared to them, if you don't look at the big picture, you're just going to kind of get stuck in that, well, I'm better than the guy across the street. And if he goes to Knowledge Festival, then you're going to be behind. So I'm just glad I did. It's made a huge impact on us.
And your advice for others wanting to get involved in the process or that aren't involved in the process, why should they?
Well, Dan was talking about, making the time, right? So it's a hard thing to do, especially from owners or managers, whatever. Like we have so much stuff on our plate. You just got to make the time. I mean, it's super important, the being part of that competitive process. It might not feel like it's giving you a paycheck or handing you money across your counter, but in the long run, it really is. And so indirectly, if you make that time, you will be paid dividends for that time. If you put the time into it, do it properly, spend the time doing it, you'll get those rewards, specifically monetarily, as your store grows and improves and you raise your labor rates and all the things that we talk about in our class. So it's just all part of it.
So Dave Wall, you're up next. Freeman's Car Stereo and Retailer of the Year for Multi-Store. Tell me about your experience. What changed? For those that don't know it wasn't just Retailer of the Year, Multi-Store. You came home with a few awards. You went back and forth up to the podium a few times. Tell us about the experience.
The awards itself, that was a great experience. That was fun. It was unexpected. The whole experience of the process. I hear a lot of resonance in all of our answers. Now, I will say Dan just said it was easy, and I'll disagree with that. It's not easy. What we did wasn't easy, and maybe we've got 7 locations, so trying to show a lot of things, it was maybe a little different, but it was well worth it. Jeremy said you learn about yourself. Dean said reflect on yourself, and I think that's what it was, a really, really good self-examination. Take a good close look at your business and take a look at what you got going on, and you're going to find things that you can improve upon. Everybody does. I think that's what it was for us, and we found things that while we were doing the videos that needed improvement, we addressed them right then. And then we had things that we had on a list afterwards that we went back and worked on too. We felt pretty good about where we were. Again, you look at the other people in it, and then you take that close look under the microscope, and you're like, yeah, we could all be doing better in certain places. I think that's what it was for us. It was well worth it. It was really good what we did and what we continue to work on.
A lot of preparation. How was the process for you?
We hadn't really participated in this, which we wanted to get more and more involved in this type of thing. And we've been bringing more people to Knowledge Fest and things like that. We wanted to showcase what we were doing, but we're starting from scratch because we'd never done it before and really didn't know what to expect. But as we went through the process, taking videos, again, you think about it. You're taking a video of your showroom and you go back and you look at your video and you're like, okay, that's not spotless. It don't look bad, but it's not spotless. But every aspect or every segment, you're thinking about those things under the microscope, which is a good exercise, something we should be doing anyway.
That has a lot to do with the awards, is really this self-reflection portion of it, making sure that you're doing the right things, if you will. What advice would you give to other retailers, big and small? I mean, you've got quite a crew where you're at.
I have definitely reached out to other friends and other businesses and said it's a good exercise and do it, participate. It's not easy. To us, it was a lot of work, but it was 100% worth it. Great experience.
Well, that's good to hear, and I appreciate that. Rich has talked you into teaching at some future Knowledge Fest, so I look forward to you sharing some of that knowledge with others as well.
Yeah, we'd be glad to.
And we're getting to Mr. Jesty. You are the co-owner of Sound Evolution in Houston, Texas. Tell me about your experience with the award.
It was my first time in Vegas. From all the trade shows we do, usually Jake's the one that goes to them. So that was cool. And then secondary, coming home with the awards from MEA was first time being in Vegas. I guess you can, part of luck, but at the same time, we also did a lot of work to get there. Experience overall, it was great. Got to meet a lot of the folks in the industry. It was surprising. We did work a lot and, we got there.
It's awesome. I was just taking a look at your smiling face picture here. So what did it feel like to be up in front there and have to get up close and personal with all your industry peers?
Like I said, it was definitely not expected. I know I've been trying a lot, going to the Knowledge Fest, things like that, following the industry leaders, Titan, we've been watching their stuff. I remember the first Knowledge Fest I went, I saw the Mercedes with the, the trunk and, the ever famous Mercedes. And at that stuff, definitely going out there, rubbing elbows with industry peers gives us a motivation and keep coming back, keep doing things to take it to the next level and be up there, with the guys.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So you said your first time in Vegas. Did you just start in the industry last year?
No, Jake's usually the one that goes to all the shows and stuff like that, and I stay back. Actually came to the one before that where we won the Customer Choice Award. That was in 22. He had come by with our lead tech, Chase. But usually he's the one that gets on the road and goes to shows, and I stay back. This time I said, I'm going to come out there. Let's go to Knowledge Fest in Vegas. Haven't been there. And came back with some hardware.
Now we're going to see you coming up in Dallas. You're going to be able to get out and get away?
We're planning on closing the store down and coming down for the week.
Yeah. So, just real quick, tell me about, you're closing your store down, bringing your team. What's the impact on you, both positive and negative for that?
Negative, well, we're usually booked out on the calendar. Like say if we go back to scheduling and things like that, so we're booked out, but we plan ahead and keep the workload light on that week or, however we're going to do that. The guys love coming out there, talking to the rep. It's always good when the reps know the guys' first name basis because they come visit the store and they get involved with the project. So the guys love coming out to Knowledge Fest just on that side. And then a lot of the times the vehicles that we bring out there are also showcased. Like last year, we did the Eleanor and the Stingray, and the guys get to see the builds in the show floor, how people react to them. So I think that was a good experience. And then the classes as well, I was fortunate enough to sit in, Phil's class. I believe it was last year when he did the Expediter class. Got a lot of knowledge, and at the same time, Vinny DeStefano, his classes are always great. And then we come back, we implement that, and then we notice there's a significant difference in our performance at the store. So I don't see a negative, but it's always a positive.
Glad that it's a benefit to you, and hopefully what you learn there will continue to grow your business. And congratulations on Retailer of the Year. Brian, I got you in. So Brian Mitchell.
The famous dog of car audio.
That was a memory. So just taking a look at some of these, I remember, I have a different view. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
View that most don't see, and it was pretty awesome. You're like, okay, he's taking pictures. Well, that's where you were standing, and then things started to get a little different.
Yeah, the lights show up on your side, and the pictures from the other side. It was hard to tell. You could see them in the crowd, but you couldn't see them in pictures. But yeah, the whole jacket lights up and flashes. And
so, did you buy it that way, or did you make it?
Bought it. Yeah, no, it's just play on all the LEDs. I get a lot of people that mention how much lighting I usually do in an install. I've been doing lighting since I began when it was still neon lights, and now it's LEDs and cob lighting and all kinds of other stuff. But I've always been known for a lot of lighting.
Tell us about the experience.
So, I think this was the 5th time that I ran for Installer of the Year. Anybody who says that it's an easy process probably hasn't gone through it. It is a lot of work, and I agree with everybody in saying that I became better from the very first time that I entered, even though I didn't win, to the last time winning the award. It does make you look at your own work in a different way, trying to better yourself to get to another level. Every year, that has pushed me to another level. So I hope I don't just top out now because I don't have that to go for anymore. One of my goals was, if I won, that I want to go out and do as much teaching to other guys on the circuit, whether it be little small sales tips or major trainings. And so I've got to do that. So that's been huge.
So you're teaching this year as well, and not that you haven't before, but how's that experience going? I know that you've been doing some hands-on classes and some hands-on prep and actually getting people to get up out of the audience and tune a vehicle and integrate into a vehicle.
That was one of the cool things about winning, is it gave me the ability to get a bigger crowd to come to the trainings. Last year we had a decent crowd for some of the trainings, but this year has been standing room only. I took the trainings even more seriously than I did before and built a truck just for doing trainings on. So we can do everything hands-on, from OEM integration and showing people all pass filters, how to negate them, to voltage, basic stuff like, what the voltage is from the factory units. And then going that next step and showing them how to tune whatever you have after you fixed it, showing that factory system can sound good even though it's using the factory head unit. Just as much stuff as I can. And I think if you took the classes end to end, it'd be about 7 hours total of class time at Knowledge Fest.
Yeah, and your classes have definitely been full, regardless of what day we keep. We could put it the day before, the day after Knowledge Fest. People still show up for your class.
Yeah, it's been good. We got a really good group of guys doing classes. I sat in Titan's class. They were great. Dean and Fernando always put on an awesome class. Everybody doing classes right now is really killing it as far as giving a lot of information that's actually usable. Making something that people get some value out of by coming to Knowledge Fest.
What challenge would you give for others? What advice would you give for others that want to get involved in the awards?
The first year that I entered was in 2012. So, it took me a long time to get to the winner's circle. That first year, I think, made the biggest impact on everything that I did, because in doing so, I made it to the top 12, which was very, very nice. I made a lot of contacts, whether it was just other industry people, other installers, that I started looking at their work saying, hey, I want to strive to do better in this area or that area. And sometimes it's going to be an impact, but it does. Again, it's not something that's usually overnight. Even though my first Knowledge Fest, it was kind of an overnight thing, that there was a lot of benefits. Each time that you enter and you do a video, you have to start looking at what you're doing process-wise, what you're doing compared to everybody else. You have to start picking out things that you like about what you do, and then you have to justify that in a video. It really is looking at yourself in a different viewpoint. You have to start looking at it from the viewpoint of somebody else, whether it's customer or the judges. It does change so many things about what you do in your shop, and it makes you better. I don't think anybody's ever come out of the awards after making a video going, I'm unhappy about making it, or I wasted my time. I think everybody should enter. Whether you get top 50, you get top 12, you win, everybody is going to get something out of it. I'd really like to see, 500 people enter, and we have to go to a larger pool of people again, back to a top 100, because we have so many people. Just the accolade of putting something on the wall so customers can see it pays for itself in the time that you're going to spend.
Well, awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. Let me bring the rest of the gang back on. For the next Retailer of the Year, for the next Expediter of the Year, for the next Rookie of the Year, what's your challenge to the industry?
I would say for the next Install of the Year, I'd like to see them be as well-rounded as possible, that they should be able to do all of it. So I challenge anybody who's going to go for an Install of the Year to bring a full rounded thing. So basic installs, tuning, your fab skills, all of those are part of it. You don't have to have just one. You need all of those things.
I want to challenge more multi-stores to get involved, because we had a few, so you were able to do that again. I like the competition too. So like more similar businesses to us involved, more competition. So if you're listening to this or seeing this and your owner you're in a multi-store, encourage the management, encourage the owners to do it, because it's a good exercise for you too.
I think one thing is that don't get in your head. Don't be afraid. Just put yourself out there. do it. I think everyone here, when they did their first video, like Taco, yeah, it can be intimidating. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, just do it. Because if you don't, you're just going to be the guy in the background going, oh man, it's like this, bro. And it's like, no, it's not. You don't know. You've never done it. Get involved and just do it. What's going to lose? What are you going to happen? Oh my gosh, I didn't make it. Well,
you only stand to grow from it.
And that is the way the system is designed. From the beginning video, which is just a very simple walk around, so you don't have to fill out a Word document or type an email. It's really just a walk around telling us about you, telling us about the shop, and to get you started, just to kind of loosen things up. And that's what that video is all about. That first one doesn't have to be professional. It just has to be correct. I appreciate all of you coming. This is a pretty awesome crew to have on one call. In the horsepower of this, having a nice round table at Knowledge Fest Vegas with all of you folks. So as I mentioned that, the nominations will start on August 17th for 2024. So don't miss out. You'll see some of the marketing prep, and this is kind of the first kickoff for that. So I appreciate each one of you sharing your experience, sharing your challenges for everybody else. And I look forward to seeing all of you at a future Knowledge Fest and again in Las Vegas as you hand the award to the next winner, if I remember to do that like I'm supposed to. But that's where we're going to have it again at the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas. February 4th will be the awards. Don't miss it. If you want information on the awards, just simply go to meindustry.awards.com and that'll get you all the information you need, and that will be your source for everything Industry Awards. So again, I thank everybody for taking the time out of your day, and I look forward again to seeing each one of you at upcoming Knowledge Fest and at the awards. And again, congratulations to all these great, awesome 2024 Leaders in Industry Award winners.